Hi, welcome back to the power of model drawing. Now, today we are going to look at before and after model, and this time we are going to look at difference unchanged. Alright, so how do we recognize the difference is unchanged? Alright, before we look at example 1, I'm going to just sidetrack and give you a very simple example. Let's say I have Mr. Ong has $10 and you have maybe $6. So if we both spend equal amounts of money, alright, maybe we both spend, let's say we both spend $2. So I will have $8 left, and you will have $4 left. And what is our total money? Our total money at first is 16, and now it became 14. It became 12. So our total has become lesser. Your money and my money has become lesser. It seems like everything has changed, right? Total money changed. Your money, my money also became lesser. However, there is something that is unchanged. If you look at the difference is still the same, right? So when you see equal quantities removed or added, what happens? Then you will realize that the difference is unchanged. And then when you draw your model, you think about that, right? So that your model can be accurate. Otherwise, you won't be able to work out the answer. All right, now let's draw out the problem. Now again, I'm going to show you that when I look at this problem, I don't solve. Alright, many of you try to solve it immediately, but that is not the purpose of model drawing. Model drawing is to draw out the problem first, draw out the sentence, and then you look at what you have done, and then you use the model to come up with your steps. So let me show you how to draw out the sentences. Sarah and Claire had $180 and $260 respectively. So each person, or the first person, has the first number, second person, second number. Each of them spent an equal amount of money. Immediately, when you see this statement, you know that the difference is unchanged. And after, Claire had 3 times as much as Sarah in the end. So how much did they spend altogether? Alright, now when you draw before and after model, you can either join them together or you can separate them. So it's up to you. Alright, so our separate them, alright, so that you can see the difference more clearly. So you have the before. So Sarah and Claire had 180, alright, and 260. Alright, and when you draw the comparison model, make sure that you have one long, one short. Don't draw 2 rectangles of almost the same length, so that you can see the difference clearly. Now, and also if you know that you are not sure how to draw the model, you don't know how the model is going to look like, you're unsure of how to really draw the model, then a good advice is put the numbers outside, because you may want to cut something. You may want to cut the box later, or you may want to add something into the box. So you have 180, and then this is 260. And if you know the difference is unchanged, then find the difference, which is $80, right? The difference. Okay, that is your before model. Now, after each of them spend an equal amount of money. So how do I show equal amounts of money? Now, another guideline to model drawing in our earlier lesson, right? To show the equal parts, you use dotted lines, alright, to show equal parts. And we are going to use the dotted lines to help us to draw the after model. So you have Sarah and you have Claire. So after they both spend equal amounts of money, then how do their rectangle looks like now? Now Sarah now will have shorter, and Claire will now have also shorter. Same. Alright, same as what you see on top, just that the equal parts are missing because it's gone. And is the difference still the same? Yeah, the difference is still unchanged. So that is $80. Alright, then what happened in the after? Claire now had 3 times. So, oh, just nice, you can also cut into 3 boxes as well. Now what happened if you can't cut into 3 boxes? Then you can put 3 units into your rectangle, into Claire's box, and 1 unit into Sarah's box. But over here, we are lucky, because sometimes when you draw your model, it is not perfect, right? It's as you draw, then you realize that, oops, when you cut, they are not proportional, right? So you don't have to redraw, all right? If you cannot have 3 equal boxes to cut, then you just put 3 units inside. But over here, we can do that. So let's call 1 unit each. Okay, so how much did they spend altogether, which is to find these 2 question marks added together. Alright, and our model is done. So you can see that, am I solving? I'm not solving. Alright, I'm just drawing out the problem, and then now we can use the model and try to solve. So without looking at the question, let's see how we work out the steps using the model. Immediately, can you look at the after and see how many more units does Claire have than Sarah? Isn't that 2 units? Right? Claire has 2 units more than Sarah in the end, which is $80. So your 1 unit is 40. And if you can find 1 unit is 40, then you can find 3 unit. You can also find 1 unit, which is 40, right? So 1 unit is 40, and then 3 unit will be 40 times 3, which is 120, right? Okay, so just whatever you found, add on to your model, right? So that it becomes clearer and clearer. And then you can fill in the boxes on top, which means that your $40 that Sarah had left is also over here. And $120 is in this box. And now, can you find how much did Sarah spend? You take 180 minus 40. So 180 minus 40, Sarah spent $140. And so you put inside the question, put inside here. And then how about Claire spent? Claire spent 260 minus 120, and it gives you the same amount. And that is also 140. And the question asks you how much did they spend altogether. So 140 times 2, right? So $140, and you times 2, and you get $280, and that's it. All right. So what's the lesson here? The lesson here is to learn to draw out the problem, draw out the sentences, and of course you must know what is unchanged. All right. And your model and my model may not be the same when you draw, but in the end, if you have drawn properly and carefully, accurately, then you should be able to work out the answer. So let's go to the next one. Now, Henry had 55, and Tim had 240, and this is at first. Their father gave them the same amounts of money, so they received equal amount. What is unchanged? Immediately the difference is unchanged. No need to think so much. Okay, once they receive equal number or equal amounts, difference is unchanged already. Tim had twice as much as Henry. That's after. So how much money did their father give them altogether? All right, so let's draw out the problem again without solving. Now, Henry had 55. So let's draw the before model first. So Henry and Tim. So Henry had a short rectangle. Tim has slightly longer. Okay, so try to make them one long, one short. And again, if you don't know how to draw, then put the number outside. And this is 240. And if you know the difference is unchanged, then you find the difference. So the difference will be 55 or 240, and you minus 55, and you will get how much? So let's work out. 240 minus 55, you get 240 minus 55, $185. So you have drawn out the first sentence. Okay, their father gave them the same amount. So how do you show the same? How do you show the same amount? Okay, now to show the same amount, all right, this is how you do. It means that their rectangles are now going to get longer, right? So it makes sense to say that each of their rectangles will get longer now. So make sure you draw, when you draw your after model, they must start from the same side, same dotted line. So Henry, more. Tim, even also more. Okay, also more. So you can see each of their rectangles has become longer. So you draw with some common sense, right? With some logic. Okay, then how to show the equal amounts that their father has given them? Dotted line, cut, to show that the equal parts, right? These two equal parts are what the father has given them. Okay, and of course the difference is still unchanged, which is $185. Okay, now let's look at the problem and see what do we need to add on to the model. Now Tim had twice as much as Henry. Alright, now there's a problem if you want to cut Tim's rectangle. You cannot cut into two boxes. Why? Because there's a shaded part inside already. Then what do? If we cannot cut Tim's rectangle into two boxes, then you can arrow sign. So there will be 2 units. And then Henry, you can't put 1 unit inside his rectangle also, right? Because there's a shaded part as well. So Henry, arrow sign, 1 unit. So now you can see that in the end, Tim had 2 units and Henry has 1 unit. That is twice as much also. Okay, so how much money did the father give them? So you are supposed to find the question marks and add them together. And your model is done. Alright, so let's look at the model, and now we use the model to solve. Alright, so how do we solve it? Okay, hang on. Alright, so you can look at the before model, or you can look at the after model, and then try to find something. Can you see something in each model? What can you see? Now, if you look at the after model, what is the difference in the units? Or how many units does Tim have than Henry in the end? 2 units minus 1 unit, Tim or Henry or Tim has 1 unit more than Henry, right? And that 1 unit is also $185. And with that, you can find many things. You can find 2 units, and you can find 1 unit, which is also $185. So how much is 2 unit? So 2 unit will be 285 or 185, and you times 2. So 185 times 2, and you get $370. So which means that over here, Tim has $370 in the end. And then what do you do? All right, now, then can you see that Henry has $35 at first? So if I were to put inside here, all right, $35 at first, and Tim has $240 at first as well. And then if you look at the after model, now isn't this box is also the money at first, right? Which is how much? Which is $55, right? And if you look at the rectangle for Tim, which is over here, isn't that his money at first as well, before the father gave him, which is how much? $240. So now can you find how much did the father give them? You take 185 and you minus 55. Like look at Henry. 185, which is what Henry has in the end, and you minus what the father get, what he has at first, and that will give you $130, which is what the father has given Henry. So Henry has $130. Then how about Tim? Tim has $370 in the end. At first, he has 240. So the father must also have given him $130 also. So Tim has received $130 as well. So how much did the father give each of them? Or how much did the father give altogether, right? So then you have to take 130 plus another 130. That's what the father gave them. So that will be, okay, let me just adjust the model, adjust the screen so you can see everything clearly. So the father has given them 130 times 2, so $260 altogether. So that's how much the father has given them altogether. All right, so that's how you draw the model. And by the way, why did Mr. Ong use freehand to draw the model? All right, and why you don't see me use draw nice rectangles with using computer to do that? Now, because when you do your exam papers, now you will have to learn how to draw. All right, and sometimes when you draw, you need to use freehand. All right, freehand, especially when you go to primary 5, primary 6. There won't be a lot of time for you to draw too nicely, right? So you cannot be too perfect in your drawing, and you have to learn to try to use freehand to draw. And of course, when you draw, you have to be neat and tidy, right? Make sure that your rectangles have straight lines as much as possible. Whatever you draw, make sure it is clear, all right? If you find that after drawing is untidy, then I think you better use a ruler. But otherwise, Mr. Ong encourages you to always try to use freehand, because when you can use freehand to draw, it's faster, right? Faster, and then you will have more time to do other questions. All right. So in all my lessons, you can see that I'm always using freehand to draw. So it may looks a little, it's still very clear, right? It still needs. I mean, Mr. Ong thinks that his drawing is still neat, but may not be very perfect, right? You don't see very nice drawing, right? But you will see a drawing that is clear enough for the teacher to understand. Okay, that is what you should be doing. All right, so let's go on to the next example, which is a practice problem. And I would like you to read and now try to solve it on your own. And if you are tidy, if you think you are tidy in your drawing, then you use freehand. Otherwise, please use a ruler. Okay, all right, so your time starts now, and then you can play the video and double check the answers. All right, so have you worked out the answer? Now let's draw out and see. there were 700 red beads and 560 blue beads. After Hannah used an equal number of blue beads and red beads to make necklaces, immediately the difference is unchanged when you see a sentence like this. Now she had now 3 times as many red as blue beads left. So how many beads did she use altogether? Alright, so let's draw out the before model. Alright, so before there were 700 red and 560 blue. So you have a long rectangle for red, and blue you have a shorter rectangle. And again, if I'm not sure how to exactly draw the model, then I put the number outside. And if I know the difference is unchanged, then let's go and find the difference. So you take 700 minus 560, and the difference is 140, and you put down over here. Okay, that is your before model. Very simple. Now Hannah used an equal number of red and blue. Alright, so take your take your ruler or use your freehand and just dotted line, cut out equal parts. And not only cut out, you may want to extend. So that's where you're going to draw the after model. Alright, starting from the dotted line. So your after model will look something like this. So after Hannah has used equal number of red and blue, then the red will become, how long is the red rectangle? The red rectangle will become like this, shorter. And the equal part is missing, right? Okay, hang on. Okay, let me just scroll down. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, then how about the blue color? Now the blue beads will become shorter as well, and you can see the equal part is also missing, right? And the difference is unchanged in the after model. So of course it's still the same, 140, right? Difference is unchanged. Now, in the end, she had 3 times as many red. And now you realize that you cannot cut the red rectangle into 3 boxes. Because if you cut into 3 boxes, it doesn't look proportional with the blue color rectangle, which is 1 box only, right? So if you find that you cannot cut into 3 boxes, right? If you cut into 3 boxes, there will be 3 units. And then you look at the blue box or the blue beads, that's 1 unit, but they don't look proportional. Then what do? You don't have to erase, right? No need to erase, and don't have to re-erase and draw again. If you cannot cut, then you just put 3 unit and 1 unit. Okay, that is another way to indicate 3 times. Alright, so how many beads did she use altogether? So once again, you have to find the question marks and you add them together. Alright, so, and now we can solve the problem without looking at the problem. So if you look at the after model, can you see how many units more is the red than the blue? 2 units more. So your 2 units is equal to 140, and your 1 unit is equal to 70, right? And then you can find a lot of things. You can find 1 unit, which is 70, and you can find 3 unit, which is 70 times 3, 210. Okay, and then you can work backwards. All right, how do you work backwards? You can see that there are 210 red beads left. So if you look at this part of the model, that is also the leftover, which is 210. And then you look at the blue beads. This is the leftover, and it is 70 also. So now can you find how many red beads did Hannah use? 700 minus 210, you get 490. So Hannah used 490 red beads. How about the blue beads? There are 560 blue beads, and she used she has 70 blue beads left, so she must have also used 490 blue beads. And if you look at the question marks, same numbers, right? Because she used an equal number, right, of blue and red. So how many beads did she use altogether? You take 490 and you times 2. And she used a total of 980 red and blue beads. Alright, so that's how you draw the before and after model, and the difference is unchanged. Alright, now, however, when you go to primary 5, now, we won't draw model for this before and after. Alright, so if you go to primary 5 and primary 6, all the before and after questions, we will use something else. We will use a faster way, an easier way, which is called tabulation, to work out the answer. Because in primary 5, the problems will get harder, right, for the before and after problems. And so when you try to draw the model, it will take some time to draw out the problem accurately, right? So we have a better way to solve the problem faster, which is to use a method called before and after tabulation. Alright, but that will be for P5 and P6. So at P3 and P4, now we still strongly encourage you to draw model, because model drawing is the basis. Alright, it's the foundation. Alright, foundation skill that you must have, because many problems still require you to draw model. So you must know how to draw model if you want to solve many problems. And then when you use the before and after tabulation, it will be much easier, because the tabulation method is quite related, or is very related to model drawing, just that you don't need to draw rectangles, right? But the steps are the same. All right, you will see something quite similar. Whether you use model drawing or whether you use tabulation, they are actually very similar. Okay, but you need to know how to draw model first before you can use the tabulation method. Okay, so we come to the end of the before and after problems. Next lesson, we are going to look at one more lesson on before and after, and that will be everything changes. All right, so stay tuned to the next lesson.